Hello and welcome to another Nikomedia tutorial. So finally I have found time to make a new tutorial. I know it's been a long time now, but I was really busy and yeah, it should be better now than at least the next few months. So yeah, so without further delay, let's start, I would say. We will make this animation today here. And this I did for an Patreon. He asked me to do this. He sent me over one still, so one screenshot. It was something like this, but not really. It was just more a sketch. And yeah, and I made this, and this is for I I don't know really for what it will be projected on a party. It will be projected on a wall. So, and I did some more of this with different shapes and everything, but uh, we will make this hypercube here. So, okay, there is nothing really special about it, but maybe interesting anyways. So, good. Let's start. So, we are here in cinema, and we start with a normal cube. So, let's make it 100. So, oops. Alright, so now it's okay. And I bring this cube in an atom array. So I selected the cube, hold my Alt key and click on the atom array. So the atom array will become a parent of the cube, and we have this here. Oh, and here I start with one by one. Oh, normally I could make this 0 and the cylinder radius. Okay, this is not possible, but okay, this is fine. And we have our outer shape here. The next step is I need the inner cube. And to make the inner cube, I don't want to make another cube and so on. I just take the cube here, and under the generator we have, I don't know since which version, but we have now the thicken generator. And I selected my cube, you see, I hold my Alt key and click on the thicken. You see, we get a second uh, cube here because of the thicken here. The position of the signal, let's get it to here. This is nothing here, so I don't want to have check updates. I don't want to have time lapse types. So now I have a little more space here. Let's go. So, okay. Now we have here the position, and here it's the middle. That means it goes 5, the half in and half out. So, but I want it only to the inside. And here with the thicken, I can say how big I want this guy here. We have 100 here, so let's go to 50 for the moment. And now we need these connections here everywhere. And these connections I do with a simple cylinder. So I create a cylinder, and we have the atom array with 1 centimeter radius. So I take the cylinder and make here 1 centimeter radius as well. On the thing we have 8 rotation segments. We don't need any height segments, and that's it. And we will clone this cylinder on the vertices of the cube. So I go to my cylinder, hold my Alt key and click on the cloner. The cloner I set to object, and as I said, I want to clone on the cube here, and I want to clone on the vertices. So on each vertex I have now one of these cylinders. But you see, we clone it on the middle of the cylinder. This is not what I want. I want it on the end of the cylinder. And for this, we can use a capsule or Then at the new capsule, so I have here my favorites. This is the geometry axis here. You will find it under node, or normally we should find it when I go Shift C and geometry axis also. Geometry axis, yeah, the first one. I hold my Shift key now, so the geometry axis becomes a child of the cylinder, and double click on the geometry axis. So, and now I simply can shift this down on the end here. So, perfect. And not really perfect because the position or the rotation of these cylinders are not really correct. So what I do is I go to the cloner, to the transform, and here in the P direction, I think it is, yep, I set it to, whoops, so in the middle, here 270 or minus 90, and I have it exactly the middle. So when I go to the cylinder and go to the length, you see, we have here the connection. And what we need now is, I want, you know, where during the animation, the inner cube changes the size. And we always want the connection the same length here on the cylinder, so that we have always the connections. And this we can do very easy. We go to the thicken, and this is the length we want. So we have 50 centimeter now. This is the 50 centimeter. And this should be exactly the same as the length of the height of the cylinder. So this is exactly what we want. So now we use a little XPresso, but we use an XPresso, we don't even have to go in the XPresso manager thing. So it's very, very easy. We go to here, go to thickness, and go to XPresso and simply set driver. So now I go to the cylinder, and at the height, right click, expression, and here, set driven absolute. See, it makes an XPresso tag, and that's it. When I go now to the thicken and change the thicken, we always will have this connection. And this is exactly what we want. Okay, that's it. And if I double click on the XPresso tag, you see it's a very easy thing. So I don't even know why they have the range mapper in here. This is not really this is not really necessary, because when we delete the range mapper here and to thicken directly to here, boing, you will see it makes exactly the same. So the range mapper is not even necessary. But you can leave it like it is, so this is no problem. Good. We have this now. And what I now want, I want the same. Yeah, we have here the 8 segments of the rotation, but you see the 8 segments here does not look as round as the atom array. And this is a simple solution is to go to the cylinder, to the form tag, and go higher with the degrees, so that's 70 or so. Now you see it's exactly the same, it's round. And I want, when I change this atom array, I change the cylinder radius, I want that this cylinder changes as well. So this we make the same with the XPresso. So when I go here to cylinder radius, XPresso, set driver, go to this cylinder radius, set driven absolute, boing. Second XPresso tag. Normally not necessary, you could make everything in one XPresso tag, but so we don't even have to go inside the XPresso. And that's it. So when I go to the thicken here, to the atom array here, and go to the radius, cylinder radius, you see they change together. We can even make the same for the C radius here. Set driven absolute. This last one was the radius. So, and now we change the radius and everything changes with it. Oh, perfect. First thing is done. Let's save this. save as hypercube tutorial. Okay. The next step is we don't need the asset browser here, so we have a little more space here. The next thing is I want a camera here, so let's make a camera. And in the coordinates, I simply zero that out more than less. 0, 0, so. Give it a protection tag. And in the protection tag, let's free the Z direction, so I can change the Z direction, but nothing else. And now for the walls, I need a simple plane. Let's go to plane. Boing, plane. I want the plane in the X direction here. Hey, this is not the X, this is C. This is the X. Okay. And I immediately bring the plane into a symmetry object. So I go to here. The plane is selected. I hold my Alt key and go to the symmetry. And when I now drag my plane over here, you see we have two planes here. And I go in the coordinates, the X direction, let's say 200 or so. Oh, or 150. We can change this whenever we want, so this is no problem. And I need this much bigger. So I make this, let's say 2000. I do not need really segments, but it doesn't matter. So this for now. Okay. And I want them much longer. So in the depth, I want to clone them so that in C direction. So I go to the plane. I clone the plane here and make the symmetry of the clone. So you could clone the symmetry as well, but I make the clone before. So I go to the plane and hold my Alt key. Clone up. Grid is nice, but I need only the Z direction. So here X, Y, and Z. We know one of the planes is 2000 by 2000, so I go here to 2000. Okay, and we could make 5, so this is fine. We could make multi-instances as well, but this is not a lot of polygons or geometry, so this should be fine. And I want to rotate this whole symmetry object here. So R for rotation, and I rotate it 45 degrees. That should be fine. The next thing I do is I make an instance of the symmetry here. And so I select my symmetry, go to the generators, and make an instance. Whoop. And this instance I rotate in the other direction 90 degrees. So nice. We have something like this. Of course, you could make this with a cube, with a long cube, but I do this because I want to make a displacement of just one plane, and then I know that every 2000 centimeter the plane it repeats, so we have a nice loop then. So, and for the end here, because when we do something like we bring the symmetry and the this is the itinerary, okay, this is the cloner, the cylinder, so this is the symmetry and this cloner, so we need the symmetry and the instance in a null, so I make a new null, bring this down and bring this in. So when I move the null, everything, so the four sides here should move. Yeah, you see, this is nice. But when I move then 2000, so I go here on frame 0, I make a keyframe now here on the Z-axis. Then I go to the last frame, and I want to make it minus 2000. So this is the size of the planes. Okay, and you see we have now the last frame and the first frame, and this looks not the same. Even if we make the cloner here, let's say we make more of them, 7, it would not be the same. So see, check, check, it's not the same. So what I do is very simple solution. I make a new plane. This plane is a back plane, and let's see. So don't forget to save in between. And this I want in the Z direction, and bring it back here somewhere. Okay, let's say minus 6000. Oh, this is too much. Minus 4000. What's going on here? Ah, it's the wrong direction. 6000. Okay, that looks good. And now we go to the last frame. Okay, that means when we do this, we see it. We have a problem here. It's still not the same. But this is not really a problem because we can go with this to 4000. It's a little closer, and now I think it should work. Now I see the last frame. Or you go back to 6000 here. And you have now this problem, but you could avoid this problem when you go again to the cloner and give it even more clones, 9. And now it should work. You see, check, check, it's the same. Okay, save this. That means we have here a looping. So when we hit run, it should. So let's click somewhere so that we don't see anything here inside. That we see if it loops. So this is fine. And at 200 frames, yeah, it loops. So we have exactly the same. Good. The next step is, and be sure that the loop is set to linear. So when you move this, go to your timeline, go to this null. So let's name this null here move. So see, so that this null is set to linear here. And if you make it by default, I think it's set to spline and not to linear. But spline would start slowly, gets faster, and ends slowly. So this is not what we want. So okay, and if you always want a linear thing in your project, so I mostly need the linear. So I changed this in the project settings. So with Control D, you go to the project settings, and in the animation, you see I have it here at linear and not at spline. Okay, good. The next step is we could hide the lines with NA. But it looks nice. So with the lines, I think, or we could try to make it as SSAO. No SSO. I bring with NB. I bring the line back. So, but these dark things here, but it doesn't matter. So now we make the animation for the cube. Now we make the rotation for the cube. So we have here the cube is made of this atom array and this clone, which are the cylinders for our connections. Huh? So let's make a null. Sorry. And bring the cloner and the array in the null. Okay, this is our cube. And now I need another null. With Alt G, I create another null. And in between these nulls, I bring in an effector. And I need here the plane effector. So I select the top null here, hold my Shift key and click on the plane effector. The plane effector is a child and is active on the things below. So good. First thing I need in the parameter, I need a rotation, and I make here quite a lot. So on this one, so I can change all three together. Say 1440 here, and now hold my control key and click enter, and you see, so you change everything together. Okay, which is nice, but it does nothing. So the cube is lazy. So let's go. The first thing we need to do is to tell the plane effector that you are not an effector, you are a deformer now, and you will deform the object here. So I go to object. We still get nothing because we have just set the rotation, but nothing, no values. So what we need is a field, and here I need a shader field. In the shader field, you could try this with a random field as well, but I got better results with the shader field. So this is, in the shader field I need a noise, and now you can see immediately, there is something. Let's go out of the camera and see this little closer. This is not really what we want. I mean, it could look nice, but I don't think so. Let's give our cube, you know, it doesn't matter with the lines. So, we could hide our move here, and now the plane and NA. So yeah, now we see this better. And when I play with this, I go in the noise field, go to object here, and make the scale bigger, so about 1000. But it does not change anything here. And when I make here the animation, that's 0.2, and a loop period of 8 seconds, because I have 200 frames and I have 25 frames per second, so this is 8 seconds. And hit play. You see, this is not really what I want. But we can simply, repair this. We go to our symmetry cloner and select the cloner, and above the cloner, I simply bring in a connect object. Here I have the connect, so I have the cloner selected, hold my Alt key, connect object, and this does nothing. This is the cube, this is the move. So not you, go to the cube, and here we bring the null in a connect object. Connect, and now we have this. Of course, now the plane effector works on the connect, and here it is everything connected. And now when we hit play, we have our cube moving. Great. And now we need the animation of this, of the thickness. And for this we did the XPresso. So we need to animate only one value. And this is the thicken. Let's go to here. Thicken, we only need the thickness to animate. So I start here on my first frame, on frame 0, go to the thickness to 0. Make a keyframe. We have here see, this is a rectangle, and these are also like colors, but this is because this shows us that this is in an XPresso tag. So this is good. So we have this, and then I go only to frame 50. So, and bring this to, let's say, 70 or so. Yeah, 70 looks fine. And make another keyframe. And now in the timeline, we have now our thicken here. And here in the thicken, I want a spline animation. I want that it is go slow inside, faster, slower, and back. So here I want a spline animation, and I want to oscillate this the whole time. So I go to my thicken, and here we have what should it do after the animation. So normally it would stop here at 50, but this is of course not what we want. I say after it, oscillate. And what that does is simply it goes up and down and up and down. We see this better when you see now we have this curve. It oscillates and it forever. So it could say oscillate 2 times, 3 times, 3 times in this case, I think. Let's see. Yeah, this is 3 times now. But get it at 0, so that it doesn't matter. Good, we have this now, and when we hit play now, we should have our animation here. It does not look sometimes like a cube because this is an optical illusion, but it's always a cube. So good. Now we can bring back our move, our plane, and a B. Okay, and this should work. Good. So now we start to. This is not really a lot of texturing here. So this is we need two different materials. So one light materials, so for emission, and one displacement thing. So what I did, what my first thing was, I make a new octane material. If you need a for physical render, you can make it exactly the same, but for physical render, you have to give the plane much more subdivisions for the displacement. Here for octane render, it doesn't matter. I could do it without any subdivisions. But in the physical render or in the standard render, you need the subdivision. As more subdivisions you have, as nicer the displacement will become. So patrons, of course, can already download the project file, the original project file on Patreon. I will. I don't know if I upload this because this is exactly the same. So, and if you really need a physically rendered version on Patreon, please write me a comment on Patreon or wherever you want. It's best is on Patreon, so I see if you're a patron or not. And I will make a physical render version of this as well, but I think this is not really necessary. Good, so I make here the material, and I go into my node editor. And first of all, I make this darker, so something like this. And roughness, bring it with a float texture. Okay, and we need a displacement. So I go to displacement. And I made a displacement map with the JSPlacer. This is JSplacement. This is this program here. Unfortunately, you can't download it anymore on JS displacement. It's not available anymore. And in the description of this video, you will find a link to the Internet Archive, and there you can download it. So okay, we'll go to here, and you see we have JSplacement 2 I used, and here I can say whatever I want. I can click on generate, and it generates something. But I want not the classic set. I use the big data here, and this is something I used. So when I go to I show you the original one I used to, sorry, I used for this one. And this is, let's see, where do I have it? Somewhere it should be now. Whoops, bring it on the other thing. So this is, where is it? Okay. And bring this inside. And you see this is almost the same material. And it makes an 8K material, so 8K material. It's perfect for something like displacement. So, and you can even you see, can save a normal map as well, so it doesn't matter. You have a lot of possibilities here, and you see you can work. Sometimes it needs a little longer, sometimes it needs not so long. Just play around with it. That would be nice as well here. Okay, so this is the placement here. And as I said, I will put a link in the description to download it from the archive. And so bring this first in the placement. As I said, this is an 8K thing. 4K is enough for me here. Bring in the texture and put this on our on our move, on our plane here. Good. That means I don't want to see it here in the thing. So NQ, you can hide the textures here. And sorry, I'll get a short break because I need to drink something. So back again. Where have we been? So yeah, this NQ is to hide the textures. So now I make here a simple, because we do not really need a lighting. I want to use just this lighting from this cube later. So the first thing I do is render this with one lot here. This is the only thing we see here. So we need here, of course, we need a light material, so emission material. Normally I name my materials, but when I see what it is, so I don't have to name it. Go to emission, black body emission. And I want here texture, and for this an RGB spectrum. Okay. This is the first thing I need. And this we bring, of course, on our atom array and on our cylinders, not on atom array. We could bring it on the connect object as well. So we need only one. Bring it on the connect object. So let's see what we get. I save it again because Octane does not always. Oof, yeah. We get something. So first of all, what I see, that displacement works great, but it's a little too fuzzy and sharp. So we can go to the displacement. And in the displacement, we can use a filter, use a Gaussian filter here. And that makes it much softer. More, 3. 3 is too much. 2. Oh, 1 was okay. Because we let's make it bigger. 50. Haha, yeah. And this I make with 3. That looks better. As I said, if you do this with physical render, you need lots of subdivisions here. This is maybe a little too high. Yeah. Good. Me too. But I don't like this now here so much. Go to here. Black body emissions. So first of all, I go to surface brightness. Maybe 50 is fine. Yeah, that looks more like mysterious. Maybe I want to make the maybe I bring the, oopsie, no, this is not the whole thing a little back. So I go to my camera. Is the Z-axis still fine? Okay. Go to the coordinates and make this a little. We have just to be careful that minus 800. That the last frame and the first frame is in the camera. So when I go to here, this is the first frame and the last frame shouldn't change yet. That is totally okay. And I could even make the atom array. This array is 0.5 maybe. Make it a little, and because of our, yeah, better. Because of our XPresso, everything changed. So the cylinder here changed to 0.5. You see, everything works together. So now we have to be a little careful because this could be quite bright when we go further, and we have now more light, of course, because we have the second cube. So until now, let's go to the camera and give the camera an object camera tag, octane camera tag. Go to my image, I enable the denoiser here. Yeah, come on. So the D-main, so let's turn it and not go to the denoiser. You see, this is much clearer, everything. And I want a bloom. So you see now it's a little noisy here, but if we could add in the post process, we add bloom here. I don't want any glare, but because I want bloom, so that looks nice. Go to 10, and then I want to cut off. So something like that. Okay, save. And of course, what I want now is I want to change the color during the animation. So let's do this. I go to the black body. I cannot change the color here. This wouldn't work when I say. I can show you this. When I say I want here, I have a red color now, and I want to change here the color. That does not really work. I don't know why. So when, let's try it. So I go to my first frame, animate this. So keyframe, last frame, and go to 1 here. Make a keyframe. When I hit play, you see there is nothing. Maybe I forgot to. No, I forgot nothing. It simply does nothing. So the animation does not work here. So what I did is, let's go to 2.5. This blue color, and I bring back the. It looks nice. And I brought here. What you can do is you can go to the black body emission and can animate the temperature here, so you get different colors. You see, this you can do. What's of course is possible, but what I did was I bring in here a color correction. So, and I simply played here with the hue. So, this was mine, and I need only from here. I don't know. I don't need the whole thing with lights. I could do it, but I just animated it. But you see, don't go up to -1. So then you get this ugly, noisy thing here. What I did, I started at minus 0.95. So make here a keyframe, and on the last frame I gone to 1. Not to 1, to 0. So save. And now when I play this, you see it changes color. Oh, that is not. Yes, this is wrong what I did. So because I want to go forth and back, so I want the keyframe here and the color correction. I want this keyframe here from the color correction. The keyframe is at should be at 200 at the moment. So when I select this one, bring this to 100, and here I make the same. I make just an oscillate. So it goes back, and so we have the perfect thing here. Now it should bring me and should go back to blue. Yeah, I have the animation now. Okay. That is this. It looks really nice. Huh? When you see, this does not look like a cube somewhere, but this is an optical illusion. This is a, it is a cube. If when you look longer or you look away a little bit and then go back, then you see, it's a cube. So, what is more? Yeah, I think I did one more in the original file, and this was whoop-de-doo. Yeah, I have here this guys here. This don't know how to name it. This, yeah, you see it. This thing here. Let's make this again as well, not again. So let's do this. Don't need the key from here. And this is very easy again. So I made a simple cube here. Let's make it, don't know, 2020. So, and bring it in a symmetry object again. So we had this already. Symmetry, wunk, and bring it to the side wherever we want it. So that it disappears here. So okay, good. Now we could make again an instance of this symmetry object. So let's make here an instance. Here it is. Woof. And rotate this 90 degrees. We have this. And we could bring this. I want this in the same height as the cube, but this should be at the same height as the cube. Yeah, it is at the same height. But let's see if we can go a little. Yeah, I think we are close enough. But maybe we can go a little closer to the cube. Oh, so I don't want to see this, but so yeah. So okay, and bring back the. I don't have here any thing, so I have 200 here in the height size. So let's see. When I go here to 20, this is 210. Yeah, now I have more or less cubes here. Save this. And now I want to have an X here everywhere on the cubes. And for this, we have a wonderful thing. This is a capsule, and it's named poke polygons. So Shift C, poke polygons. You see it with the X here. And this comes under our cube. So the cube is selected. I hold the Shift key, check, and we have our X here. Pow! And now, nothing easier than that. Go to our cube and bring the cube in an atom array. So go here to the cube. I hold my Alt key, atom array, and set it to 1 by 1. Let's do 0.3 by 2.3. looks better, and we don't need 6 is enough. We have our thing here, and for this one here we could use whatever one, but I could use this material and just and bring the displacer out. So I copy this one, name this, grid is maybe a good idea. So make the grid here, and I disable the displacer here. So check disabled, and bring this guy on the grid, so on the atom array here, or on the symmetry object, it doesn't matter. Save. Good. So, but it will not move now, this whole thing, and it does not look. This is very, and you see we have no no copies. So let's bring these two guys in a null. Name this grid. Whoops. And I could now I simply clone this. I could even steal the clone of that, but make a new clone. That shouldn't be so hard to do. So let's make a cloner. Only in the z-axis again. And I want this. We had 2000 for the things, so let's make here 500. And here we make lots of clones. Let's see until we overshoot our backplane here. Where is the backplane? Yeah, okay, that's okay. But we could go with the. So and this should look. Let's see when we go to the first frame. This is the first frame, and the last frame. We have exactly the same, because 2000 is the plane, and the 500 is. We can divide it nicely. So. And but now it still does not move with this whole thing, and this is not what we want. So the simplest thing is now we go to the move thing here. So now we go to the cloner. Give the cloner a constraint tag. This should be a parent constraint, and in the parent we put in the move. So, and in the move we say we don't need the rotation, we only need the position. Let's see what's happened now. Now it goes with our thing here. Where is our cube now? Ah, the cube is here. Wow, this is nice. The cube is hidden here. Save it and render it. Yeah, and we could make the. This is interesting. Where you see we have this intersecting, but not here, and the reason is because of the displacement here. The displacement brings it down. We have in the displacement we have different things. So we can bring the displacement to 0.5 here. Now it's okay. Or we can bring it in even further in when we go to 1 here. See that, and it goes even further inside. So let's go to 0.5. Or when we want it at 0, we could simply make the guys longer here. So when we go to our cloner, these are the grid. And we search for our cube here. 200, let's make it 240. Now we have this longer things. It's not, it looks nice too, but I want this, so it should be then 12, I think. Yeah. No, but a little thicker. Let's see how it looks with 1. Oh, 1 is too much. 0.6. 0.6 is perfect. Okay, and we have our animation. Everything loops, everything works, everything is fine. Okay. You see, this looks again a little noisy, everything, but in the animation you don't realize it. But let's see if we can change here anything. Save it. Go to the black body emission. This is, yeah, this would be nice as well, but let's see, why is this so? Yeah, that makes it better. This is with too much saturation. Yeah, less saturation makes it better. Or if we make it darker, but no, go a little back with, little down with the saturation, and then should be fine. Ah, it's still here, but I have this problem. I had this more often, but let's see what we could do here. And again, this is, maybe let's go with the gain and make it power down. No, but for me, this is a little much. Now when we go with the saturation down, then we get it white. This is, of course, yeah, what we could do, of course, I have very low samples, of course, so I have, you see, I have only 200 samples here, so this is nothing. So this could be the reason as well, because in my original one I don't have this. Okay. Woof. And the samples, this does nothing. When I got 1,000 samples here, it won't make it better. A little maybe. Or is this? No, not really. But as I said, when you have the animation, so that this I rendered, I don't know how, I think with only 500. This I rendered with 500 samples, I think. But yeah, in the post work, I got rid of this. Now I remember, I got in the post work, I got rid of this with DaVinci. So if I had a denoiser. Somehow that is still a little. A little thick, this I think. Let's go here. We have here, let's see, let's go here. Gaussian spectrum. Let's see. This should work better. No, but here let's go to 0 here. I'm a little surprised. Normally it should do something here. Ah, here is the width. And when I change here the hue, yeah, with the Gaussian spectrum, it works better. Oops. No, 1. Yeah, I think you should do it with the Gaussian spectrum instead of the RGB. Yeah, that looks much. That looks much better. Okay. Yeah, here we don't have it. This things. Ah, and what we, of course, we need depth, depth, depth. We need depth of field. No autofocus, please. I want it at this to get this position. I won't get it on on the atom array thing, but we can simply disable the atom array, click for the focus on the cube, and enable the atom array again. So let's see, I'm gonna go to 10. This is a little too much, but looks nice when we have in front the depth of field as well. But maybe not too much. Yeah, that looks nice. Okay, now I'm satisfied here with this. Can even make the, yeah, as I said, the Gaussian spectrum here works better than the RGB. So if you download the original file, you can simply exchange these two. But I think I will upload the tutorial file here as well. So what did yeah, I want just to see if I make this higher and go to 0.5. Looks quite nice. And when we go, when the grid comes in the front, it should, yeah, we have our depth of blur on the grid. This I wanted to see. This is nice. Yes, this is a nice one. I want the hypercube and the grid. So yeah, I think here I have it. Yeah, I have the grid here, hypercube, everything is here. Great. Okay, that's it. Okay, I think we are done, and I hope you liked this one. It was not so complicated, but I like it. I really like it. And here again, you see how easy it is with how easy you can make your life with the XPresso. So you don't have to animate anything. You animate just one value, and everything is done. Okay, so now as in future, I will try to make again more tutorials. As I said, I had a big job and I am finished it, and luckily the client is happy with it. So and now I make a little break with bigger jobs. So because with bigger jobs, this is if you're alone, it stops it stops to make fun, you know. And good, yeah, that's it. again, and if you want, if you're patron and you say, no, please, I need the physical render thing. Of course, don't expect from the physical render that you get nice glowing and everything. So here we could give us more bloom, for example. So we can less cut. So look at this, how nice this could be. Jack. Yep. And it's something like this you won't get with the physical render. But you can render in physical render, you render the with an emission, with an emissive material, and if you have any video editing program, like let's say I work with the wünsche Resolve, or if you have the Adobe Premiere or something else, or After Effects, you everywhere you find a thing, a, a setting for a bloom. So okay. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, any complaints, any requests, please let me know here in the comments, or on my Facebook site, on our Facebook group, on my website, on my blah blah blah. You know it. And yeah, and you please give me some requests, because again, I lost control over my requests in my list, because I had to install everything new here, and now I have a list on the cloud, so it shouldn't happen again. So yeah, good. That's it. I hope the audio quality is okay, because I have a new microphone. It's a cheap one, but it's just it's such a clip you clip on a T-shirt, and this is much better than such a big thing in front of me. Yeah, so that's all. I wish you all the best here from Austria, Vienna, und tschüss und baba.